Today in election news, Abbasali Kadkhodai, the Guardian Council spokesperson, announced today that the deadline for reviewing the qualification for presidential nominees for Iran's 10th round of presidential election will be extended by 5 days, thereby doubling the designated time period for the review. The Guardian Council usually has 5 days to assess the qualification of the nominees after the registration period has ended. The Council has never been able to keep up its 5-day limit and has always had to extend it. According to Mehr News Agency, Kadkhodai said this extension was legally permissible and that the results will be announced to the public on May 20th. Previously, Kamran Daneshjoo, the head of the state election headquarters, had reported that 475 people had registered to stand for the June 12th presidential election. The Guardian Council spokesperson also emphasized that once the results of the review are announced, it is final and not subject to appeal. Many pro-reform and independent candidates have objected to the vetting of candidates by the Guardian Council. Mehdi Karoubi, in a speech given in late this past March, called this vetting by the Guardian Council a cause for revoking the quote Republican element in the system of the quote Islamic Republic. Zahra Rahnavard, who is busy campaigning for her husband Mir Mousavi's bid to run as an approved candidate in the presidential race for the June election, yesterday addressed a gathering of women supporters of Mousavi called Turquoise Girls in Tehran and criticized the political and social policies of the current government, saying, quote, "The behavior of security patrols toward women is of the ugliest kind." According to the pro-Mousavi website Qalam, Rahnavard, who was speaking in her capacity as a Quran scholar, asked, quote, "Who has the right to handcuff a girl and throw her in a detention center, leaving her father, who is her real guardian, to wait for her and wonder what will happen to his honor? How can one separate a woman from her husband and child and keep her in detention, leaving the child to cry after the mother?" Rahnavard noted that in recent years, Iran has paid a heavy price on the international front for its, quote, incorrect policies toward women and the youth, and said, quote, "I, as a Quran scholar, have never seen anywhere in Islam or in the Quran such prescriptions for the treatment of women and youth." Speaking to a group of students in the Isfahan province, the head of Mehdi Karoubi's presidential election campaign explained Karoubi's proposal to nationalize oil shares, saying, quote, "Sharing oil revenues with the public does not mean distributing money to people. In reality, this is a way of continuing the nationalization of the oil industry, meaning that we take money from the government and give it to the people." Karbaschi said that in the past, Karoubi had proposed giving 50,000 tumans, roughly $50, to the people, but now the current government is talking about giving $80 to the people. Karbaschi went on to say that the current government wins votes because of its publicity and the money that it spends. He added, quote, "I have heard on the radio dozens of times that the people can receive dividends from justice shares. For people who live under the poverty line, this is life-changing. You can't tell people not to go and collect their money." These stories and more at televisionwashington.com.